Hi, I'm Crazy Mama, and I'm here to read another story to you today. I'm out here by my barn because I wanted to have chickens in the background because I'm reading a book called The Book Festival. And it's by Mary Jane and Herm Auch. And it's about a chicken who becomes an author and writes a book called Chickergarden. But before I do, I wanted to show you my 7-week-old Buff Orpington. It's actually my son Nathan's chick. And I showed this in another video of about chickens about 7 weeks ago. And this is about how big it got. And this is the way you hold a chicken. You put your finger between their legs, 1 or 2 fingers, depending on how big they are. She's pretty small, so you just put them there to hold their legs steady. And you put your hand over their wings so that they don't start to flap. And she's getting pretty used to being held, so she doesn't seem to mind too much. But anyhow, I wanted you to see her because in the story, Henrietta gets a letter from a publisher and it mentions a Buff Orpington. So this is what a Buff Orpington is. You'll see some other chickens in the background every now and then. If they come over here, I might introduce you, but other than that, I'm just going to leave them be. I'm going to put her in a little pen to keep her safe while I read. So here she goes. Over here. Here you go, girl. In the pen. Okay. There she is, safe and sound. And I'm ready to read. So here we go. The Buck Festival. That's a sound that the chickens make. You might hear it in the background. The Buck Festival. There she is with her book, Chickergarden. Henrietta was an avid reader, a rare talent for a chicken. The librarian let her check out books because she was exceedingly careful with them, especially when crossing the road. Henrietta was also an author. She once wrote her own story and sent it to a publisher, but got a rejection. So she made a few books to give to her aunties and the librarian. This is called The Perils of Maxine. Looks like a little blue riding hood. The annual Children's Book Festival this fall, 30 authors and illustrators. So there's all these pictures. One day, Henrietta saw a poster for the Children's Book Festival. She noticed that none of the authors were chickens. I'll write a new story, she clucked. This time, I'll pretend I'm a person. So, tickety-click, Henrietta pecked out. Once there was a hen named Chelsea. She's writing a new book, Aunt Liz squawked. The other aunties rushed over. Chelsea went walking in the woods, Henrietta typed. Oh, the old walking in the woods routine, Aunt Golda yawned. Hum drumsticks. Let's play what if, suggested Aunt Olive. What if Chelsea flies to the moon? I want my story to be about things that chickens really do, Henrietta said. All we do is stay cooped up, cackled Aunt Golda. Cooped up is cozy, murmured Aunt Zoe. Henrietta hatched an idea about her coziest memory. Chelsea felt comfy inside her shell. It fit her perfectly. Henrietta kept going. The story started happy, then got not so happy when Chelsea had to leave her shell, and not so happy at all when it was time to go to Chickergarden. That's all right, Henrietta decided. The main character needs to have a problem to make a good story. Henrietta cried through the sad parts, then wrote a happy ending. She sent her story to 5 publishers with this letter. Dear publisher, I am an expert in chicken behavior. This story comes from my observing my own little flock. The name of the story is Chickergarden. I hope you enjoy it. Yours truly, Henrietta Fowler. Henrietta Fowler seemed like a splendid name for a chicken pretending to be a person. All 5 publishers wanted Henrietta's book. She picked the one called Holiday House because they sounded like friendly people who wouldn't get mad if they discovered that she was a chicken after they published her book. Now here's the letter that she got from them. Holiday House. Dear Henrietta Fowler, congratulations! We want to publish Chickergarden. Everybody here loves the story. We're all doing the happy dance. Famous artist Buffy Orpington can't wait to start the illustrations. We all expect this book to be a winner. Many months later, a box of books arrived. It took all the hens to push it and pull it into the coop. Henrietta's aunties made her read Chickergarden all aloud over and over. "I remember how you loved your little shell," sighed Aunt Zoe. Later that day, Henrietta took her new book to the library. "We already have Chickergarden," said the librarian. It got a starred review in the corn book." Henrietta read the review to her aunties. They weren't impressed. Aunt Golda thought the star was a bug and ate it. The next day, Henrietta was flabbergasted to see Chickergarden in the bookstore. When she got home, she had the most exciting surprise of all. "Dear Henrietta Fowler, we love your book, Chickergarden. We cordially invite you to be a featured author in our Children's Book Festival." Henrietta didn't need to brood over the invitation. She accepted right away. Welcome to the book festival. Welcome to the Big Fall Book Festival. This year, Henrietta Fowler. Say a big hello to our newest author, Henrietta Fowler. The day of the Children's Book Festival, Henrietta joined the crowds headed for the door. Inside, the authors sat at the tables with stacks of their books. Up near the ceiling, their names were spelled out in moving lights. Henrietta's feathers fluttered when she saw her own name. Then she spotted her books and flew over to her table. "This is the proudest moment of my existence," she clucked to the author next to her. "Eek!" screamed the author. Henrietta looked up, expecting to see a hawk. But there was none in sight. "Hawk!" yelled the other author behind her. Henrietta looked down the aisle, thinking a fox had sneaked in. But no. The festival director came running. "Who let this chicken in here?" "I'm an author," Henrietta squawked. But even though she knew people language, Henrietta's words came out in hen speak. Nobody could understand her. So she ran and ran, then dived under a table. Henrietta huddled, crestfallen, in the darkness until a child discovered her hiding place. "Chicken loose in the hall! Chicken loose in the hall!" Then she escaped to perch high on a balloon where she could see the whole festival. In a corner down below, a woman was tapping on a computer. She was the one making the words in moving lights. When the woman left the table, Henrietta swooped down. She pecked frantically. She pecked out a frantic bulletin. "I may be a chicken, but I'm also an author. My name is Henrietta Fowler, and I wrote Chickergarden." Way across the room, the librarian saw the message. "Henrietta, where are you?" she shouted. "Buck, buck, 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 buck," Henrietta screeched. The librarian came running, picking up Henrietta just in time. "Get that chicken out of here!" yelled the festival director. The librarian held the frightened hen in her arms. "This is Henrietta Fowler, the author of Chickergarden." "Ridiculous," said the director. "Chickens can't write." The loyal librarian smiled. "That's what makes Henrietta unique. A chicken who can write books is a national treasure." You hear all my chickens? It says, "Be sure to stop by and say hello to Henrietta Fowler. She really is a chicken." For the rest of the day, the librarian opened the books for Henrietta to scratch her autograph in every one. Henrietta was enchanted to meet her fans. And she felt extraordinarily proud to be a chicken. And here, I'll read what the newspaper says. "Big excitement at the Children's Book Festival. The usually peaceful Children's Book Festival was a chaotic scene yesterday when a live chicken flapped through the exhibit hall, pursued by the festival organizers. The day was also marred by the absence of the featured new author, Henrietta Fowler. Her picture book, Chickergarden, follows the early life of a chick. Fowler's absence is a huge disappointment," said festival director Myrna Flews. "Chickergarden is the most popular book with area children. They have been so excited to meet her. I wanted to ask her how she thinks like a chicken," said 8-year-old Brian Glass. "Now I'll never know." The mystery of the runaway chicken and the absent author were solved simultaneously when it was revealed that Henrietta Fowler is a chicken. "A chicken who can write a book. How cool is that?" said Glass as he waited in a long line to have Fowler autograph his book. Well, I enjoyed that book, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I'll talk